Would you like to use just one or two creatures to win the game? Do you like to play combat tricks, but you don't really care about poison counters? Do you want to win through combat damage the way Richard Garfield intended? Well, this is a blue and white deck that aims to lean on a couple of early game creatures and go all the way with them. So we've got new card Skrelv Defector Mite, which is a great turn 1 play that can get in for some toxic damage, add some poison counters, but really, Skrelv is a distraction. He's here to support our other star players over here. It is nice that he's got an ability. I'm assuming it's pronouns, so apologies. But it's got a nice kind of Mother of Runes effect on it, where you can give another creature the ability to not be blocked by creatures of a specific color, which, as you'll see, is kind of important for closing out games with this deck sometimes. So enough about Skrelv, let's get to the rest of it. We've got 4 copies of Illuminator Virtuoso, 2 copies of Dennick Pious Apprentice, and 1 Steel Seraph over here. So the Seraph fills kind of a similar role to Skrelv in that it can give our Virtuoso flying, it can give our things vigilance and lifelink, and help keep us in the game too if we want. But most often it's going to give something surprise flying and let us get in for the win. So what are we looking for in our opening hand? Well, we're looking for one of these 2 cards, either the Virtuoso or the Drake. Preferably the Drake. The Drake is a little bit better in keeping our hand filled, but if we can put enough stuff on the Virtuoso, we can just close out a game with that by itself. So first the Drake. We've seen this before. Every time you target it with a spell, we get to draw a card. And so we've got loads of early and cheap interaction over here in all of these cards, including Slip Out the Back, Shore Up. These help protect our creatures from removal and keep them safe. Fading Hope can get opposing blockers out of the way, or if we're really desperate, can bring our own stuff back to our hand. And then Homestead Courage is a nice 2-for spell that we get to cast twice and makes our stuff a little bit bigger, gives it vigilance as well. I've grouped these together because they also help keep our hand filled. We've got 4 copies of Combat Research. Gives a creature the ability to draw a card every time it does damage to a player, and then Security Bypass. This makes it so a creature can't be blocked if it's attacking alone, and it lets the creature connive if it gets in for some damage as well. So these can help close out some games too, especially putting them on a Virtuoso, or by putting it on a Drake and letting it draw more cards for us to keep our creatures safe, and then close out the game shortly after that. So one tip if you want to try out this kind of deck is make sure you've got one of these 2 creatures in your opening hand, either the Virtuoso or the Drake. You're guaranteed to have some early protection and interaction for it, just the way this deck is structured. And then we want to lean on one of these to go all the way. If you get the opportunity to play a second one sometime, that's fine, but we're really looking for one of these 2 cards to get us there. All right, well, let's get over to the ranked standard ladder and see some games with this deck and annoy our opponents out of the game the traditional way. I'll be with you for some commentary, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, let's keep this. We're going to have to trust in our deck to give us an extra land. Wish we would have had an untapped one there for Skrelv, but let's see what we can draw. So ideally, ooh, a Skrelv from the opponent. All right, well, Skrelv from us. All y'all Skrelvs, say hello to each other. Ideally, with this deck, you can start laying stuff on 1 and 2, but I kind of lead with the less important things. So Skrelv and Dennick, kind of the supporters here. There, Skrelv gets in for 1, and they're on the board. Perfect. So let's get in with our own Skrelv. They don't do anything, so we can Drake and safely keep up, Slip Out the Back. Sometimes you gotta be patient with this deck. Don't start throwing stuff at the Drake right away. All right. Opponent looking at some oil counters or something. All right, decides not to come in here. All right, another plains. That means we can probably start targeting the Drake with Homestead Courage here. Yep, we should have enough to do that. Let's see what we draw before we decide what land to play. You pick up an Eiganjo, the Drake gets slightly larger. And let's see, Skrelv here. All right, just makes it so it can't be blocked by creatures of that color. Yeah, let's Homestead Courage again. No sense in really holding on to that one, and we're sure now that we've got enough mana left over for Slip Out the Back. We could even put a Combat Research on this card. Aim to start drawing some extra stuff. Alright, Drake's up to a 4-3. Let's do it again. Must be that Skrelv that's holding priority over there. Okay. And now we stop. Keep up, Slip Out the Back. And just get in with this Drake. Too many cards off of one Drake. Good game. Double Drake and a Homestead Courage. You can't ask for much better than that. And a Shore Up on top of it. Let's get Skrelv going. Attract some early removal from our opponent. I'm tempted to just lay a Drake here. See what the opponent does. Alright, nothing about that. Let's hold off. Those colors tend to play a lot of removal, so let's at least wait until we can shore up a Drake in response to something. Try to bait something out with Skrelv. And Skrelv gets hit with a castle. We'll go ahead and play the Drake. And then hold up, shore up for our opponent's turn. Alright, opponent with a Soaring. They decide to do here. They're going to draw. So that's going to push Soaring up to 5 loyalty. I don't know if we can quite get there with what we've got. Well, let's draw some cards, put some counters on. It may be worth just pressuring Soaring, even if we can't finish him off. Because a flying blocker is even more annoying than a regular creature. Okay, let's get in. Nothing else from us. Still want to hold up, shore up while you've got it. Opponent going to draw again.
Dire times call for dire tactics.
Duplicate Eiganjo from the opponent. Esper colors. Surprised we haven't seen a Raffine yet. But this is looking like it's leaning more control. And with Kaido here, that could be some kind of Super Friends list. Bunch of Planeswalkers together. So they're going to make a Ninja and aim to start repeatedly drawing with Kaido after getting in those attacks. Second shore up is going to be nice if they're going to be drawing more cards. We've got 5 mana available, but I think with just this Drake, we got to take out Soaring. We're not really going to be able to combo finish our opponent just yet, so that will help reduce the number of cards they draw. Let's get Dennick down. And we'll get another Drake down. Could make the argument for keeping one creature back and holding up 2 shore ups. But since our opponent hasn't been targeting our stuff too much, I think we're okay to start spreading out a little bit. Now's the time we need to start laying on the gas as they pick up extra cards. Looking for removal, board wipes, that kind of thing. Alright, opponent passes. We pick up Eiganjo number 2. Not too worried about that Ninja, though. Let's send a Drake over at Kaido, since it's still fairly low, and the other 2 at the opponent's face. Opponent tries to march one of our Drakes, so we will shore it up. Get a little card draw out of there. Opponent will Wanderer. Interesting.
I am the Emperor of Kami
So they decide to wander the big one, but we've got a second shore up for that. I'm sure opponent not happy with us right now, so we blank that life gain. We blank the other life gain through the march. Kaido goes down. We bring our opponent to 12.
I learned what I needed to.
Can play an extra land here. And might as well get this other Drake down. So we're kind of out of protection, but if we get wiped, we can bring Dennick back. An opponent with a Teferi.
You know I've always got time.
Kind of lucky for us they didn't have a depopulate there, but...
Now that is an interesting fact.
Alright, opponent will get in with the ninja. We get a slip out the back. Let's use Homestead Courage to do a little bit of drawing. Let's see if we can't get ourselves up into lethal range this turn. Alright, I don't think we can do it. So the question is, what do we send over at Teferi and what do we send to the face? Let's send Dennick and one of the 4/3s to the face. And then I think these two over at Teferi to finish that off. Teferi means blockers and card draw. I'd like to avoid that if possible. So the good news is we've got two, not short ups, two slip out the backs
No
now.
setbacks next time.
So even though we've gone a little wide, we can protect at least some of our things. There's the depopulate, but it's too late. Oh. We will slip out the back one Drake, and then definitely slip out the back the other big one. The depopulate comes just too late, and opponent scoops it up. Good game. Alright, there's no creature here. We can't keep this. And we get a Virtuoso here. Tempted to keep this. I think putting back the Courage will guarantee that we can do our game plan. Yes. Excellent. There's a slip out the back for some protection. Everything we need. Opponent going to play with Fire the Face. Gets a little scry. We'll take 2. Alright. Kumano. It's going to hit us for 1. Double Kumano. So we're looking at some big creatures coming down next turn. And then possibly some flipped copies of that card coming down turn 3. Just a Reckless Impulse. Okay, well they're setting up with some Phoenix Chicks next turn, but they missed out on the counters. Let's use this opportunity to get the Virtuoso down. We can protect it with a slip out the back. Hopefully start growing it. Opponent could have some cheap removal. Throw 2 copies. Just to play with fire, we can easily slip out the back for that. We are going to be on the hook for 5 damage here. Alright, I think we just have to connive the land away. These other 2 are too valuable to give up right now. There's more protection for us. Perfect. Alright, I think Homestead Courage, that's a guaranteed counter. We can connive, get rid of this other Virtuoso. We're kind of all in on this one for the moment. Another draw for a Seraph. Let's just get in for that. So 5, another 5 because it's double strike. Now we can protect it with a shore up. There's a squee. Didn't want to combat research. There's an option they could have blocked it. And we would have been out of luck if they had enough removal in hand to take care of this creature. Well, this is a good draw. Homestead Courage. Let's go again. I think Skrelv is a little late, but let's combat research. I mean, if we can just get in, the opponent's going to lose. So let's keep the pressure up. Oh, you know, well, I didn't see it, but we could have put down Skrelv here to guarantee that we get in next turn, and I also forgot that the Phoenix chick can't block, so we could have put down the Steel Seraph pre-combat and given the Virtuoso flying for the win. So they will come over for 1. I don't think it's going to make a difference. This is a big creature to remove, so luckily we are not punished for that mistake. Yep, there it is. Good game. Okay, no creatures again. Virtuoso in this hand, 3 lands, a little protection. This is... You can't draw it up too much better, although it does hurt putting that combat research back. Let's get started. I think the plan right now is to wait until turn 3, drop the Virtuoso with backup, and slip out the back. And we get our combat research back anyway. Opponent doing some thinking. It's like they're on the Orzhov white and black train. Well, this is what we were ready for. We will slip it out the back. Gets a counter and gets an extra connive. Think we got to let this land go. With no blockers, this is a tempting combat research turn. Oh, and security bypass. Yeah, let's save that. We might be able to surprise them and get by a blocker when they think they're safe in the future. Second Virtuoso not needed. Might as well put a counter on with this Homestead Courage. Ooh. Yeah. We only need 1, but this kind of telegraphs that we have slip out the back. But it's still early. We might just need to be able to dodge 1 more piece of removal, because all this needs is 1 more hit. Depopulate. Okay. Well, we'll slip it out the back. Just discard this land, and that'll scoop it up. Good game. Okay. We got a Drake here to start off with. We got some protection for it. Let's see if we can annoy this opponent out of the game. Ouch. Duress. Opponent knows what we're up to. Well, I still think we wait here. We've only got the 1 Drake. Anything happens to that, and we are at the mercy of our top decks. So let's Drake. We've got 1 left for a little protection, and they know about it. They try to go for the throat. If we slip this out the back, it's guaranteed to be phased out until the start of our next turn, so I think that makes the most sense. That way, if they want to try to remove it again, it's still safe, even though we're tapped out. No way out, so we will discard these 2 extra lands. Opponent will get a Decayed Zombie. Security bypass for us. Well, combat research is going to net us a card instantly. As we pick up more protection, which is wonderful. Let's go ahead and get in. Draw an extra card from the research, and we'll just pass it. We've got 2 protection spells against a color that is heavy on removal. Let's shore this up. Pick up a draw. Otawara, that's going to be good if there's a blocker. All right, we replace our own shore up. Let's security bypass. Free card here. We'll go ahead and get in. just for 3, but this Drake is drawing us numerous cards. Get rid of the second combat research. Play a land and pass. Opponent with Infernal Grasp, but we've got a shore up for that. I think shore up's fine here, puts a counter on it, and basically lasts until we can untap. Tap land here, let's get in for another 4. Oh, we'll pick up a couple of draws. I think second Fading Hope is the way, and we've got a little room here to put down a second creature. So if the opponent can go with a board wipe here, that's fine. Yep, you can have that. At this point, we are pretty much on the 5-4 Drake plan. Opponent with a Bank Buster. They will draw. Okay, so the question is, can we finish this off now? I don't think we can, but it might be close. Let's see what we draw with this Homestead Courage on the Drake. Alright, well, we pick up just a Virtuoso. I don't think any of our draws will get us there, so we'll just get in for one more attack. Draw a few more things. Discard an extra Drake. Get this land down, and try again with the Virtuoso. Opponent draws with the Bank Buster. We've had an answer for every individual piece of removal, and that's going to be too much. Good game.